All right. So in this video, we are going to do elaboration of our design. So to review, the Genus tool now has access to all of our libraries, and it also knows where all of our RTL is. So we can now read in our first HDL file. We can read in read HDL, SV as our option, because it is a system verilog file, and then CIC filter.sv. And it's like that, super easy, super simple. What we just did is we gave the tool this bit of code here. And this is just a basic two-stage CIC filter. What we want to do now is elaborate CIC filter. And easy, no issues. Now, what we want to do is we want to check the design. And it will tell us a little bit about the design, basically what has been, I guess, determined from this design. Now, if we go to GUI show, at this point, you can get kind of a better idea of what's happening here. You can go to schematic and it'll give you the elaborated schematic. Some unsigned addition, some gates, a lot of registers. Gives you all the nuts, and this is useful if you're designing RTL. You can be designing RTL with Genus. I know that when I'm designing RTL and I have like size constraints, for example, it's really is helpful to look at an elaborated schematic to kind of see what I'm asking of the tool. So this is valuable. I think this is a nice feature. The next thing that we want to do is we want to read our SDC constraints. Now, when we read our SDC constraints in, this is actually for a much larger design, this SDC file. So you can see some of these are rejected, and that's okay. The idea is that you read in your SDC constraints, or you can actually edit your SDC constraints right here. Like for example, we can, if we report timing, this is something that we should be doing. You can see all of our sequential clocks without waveforms. And basically, it gives you a nice overview of what is and is not constrained. So outputs without external clock delays, sequential clock pins without clock waveforms, for example. We can type get clocks, or sorry, get clocks. We cannot find any clocks. We have no clocks defined for this. If we go to our RTL, you can open it up. We see that we have one clock here, for example, and we can write our SDC command right there. We can say create clock decimator. Period 10 waveform. We can just say 5, 5. And then it would be clock decimator again. And we now have a clock. Now if we say get clocks, you can see clock decimator. So you can actually write your SDC constraints within Genus, and then you can export your SDC constraints, which will be done automatically when we export to Innovis. So that more or less is elaboration. At this stage in the design, you've already written your RTL, and you want to read it in, elaborate it, check that the design meets whatever criteria you've set for yourself. And then you want to read in your SDC constraints and ensure that your elaborated design is 100% constrained so that when you're doing timing later on, you're not going to find any issues. That's it for elaboration. Those are the key steps for elaboration. In the next video, we will go over the 3 synthesis commands.